What is going on? Welcome to a video where we are going to be looking at Hyperliquid today. They have recently done an airdrop. Most people in crypto are aware of this because the average amount that was airdropped is almost 30 grand. Now, what's really caught my attention here is the price has gone up so the total was, I believe, $1.8 billion in airdrop value. With all that sales pressure or sell pressure, the price has still gone up. And Hyperliquid has done something right. That is very clear. And in this video, I wanted to take you through my process of trying to figure out what they've done right. Because I don't know much about this project. As you know, there's a billion things you can follow in crypto. Hyperliquid is one that I missed, and I want to learn more, so I wanted to share my process. I've done something kind of similar with Bonk in the past, but hopefully we'll learn two things in this video. Number one, what Hyperliquid specifically has done to achieve the success that they've had. And then number two, my process for breaking down a project, so that when you come across a project that you think has something to teach you from a marketing perspective, you can kind of follow a similar process and learn some stuff about it. And before I dig in, check this out. I have just received a physical hard copy of my book, The Art of Number Go Up, which is, I've rebranded this channel to Number Go Up Labs. It felt more, I like it better, and we're going to proceed with that. And I'm happy with it. And I'm happy with the book. It's pretty awesome. That being said, let's go deeper into Hyperliquid. So what I've started here is I've gone to their website and I'm looking for things like positioning and messaging and vision and things of that nature. And the very first thing is the blockchain to house all finance. That is their headline, which means that they're basically trying to position themselves as the finance blockchain, right? That's how they want you to associate, Hyperliquid. You want them to think, oh, we're building a finance app, we should be on Hyperliquid, right? I've had a quick look at this before, and there's no obvious vision that I'm seeing. And so there's some stuff that they could improve on the foundations front. And here we have some of the reasons that I believe are why they're successful, which is that they famously have no investors, right? So no VCs. I don't know if they have angels and that sort of thing, but no big VCs. They just haven't played that game. No paid market makers, no fees to any company, community first. And a big narrative in crypto, as many of you watching, is the idea of fairness. This is a big reason why meme coins took off this year, because people are just sick of getting dumped on by VC-funded projects. And so I also had a call with somebody who reached out to me the other day, and he was asking about, I'm going to launch he's not super deep in crypto, and he was asking about, hey, I'm going to launch a meme coin. What should I do about taxes and these sorts of things? And I explained to him this sort of just fair, just the move towards fairness, where people are just gonna eat you alive in crypto if you have treated them unfairly. And so this is a, sort of a meta that we are all feeling and seeing. And it's probably a huge reason why Hyperliquid has been successful. Now, hopefully we're gonna uncover some more things, but this is one of those foundational things where they got the timing right. We talked about timing many times because it's such an important piece, but now the topic of fairness is so big, and it seems like some of these things that they've done here just make it seem more fair. And look, at the end of the day, also something that pisses me off a little bit is people are kind of stupid in crypto. The reason Hyperliquid, the main reason why people are so bullish on Hyperliquid is because they got a huge fucking airdrop. It's not the tech, right? People are talking about it like it's Jesus or something like that. They got loads of money from Hyperliquid. That's why they're happy about it. It's not because of the breakthrough technology or something like that. And this is why you have to know people better than know themselves. And this is something I write about in the book a lot, because you can't just take people at their word for what they're saying. You have to understand human behavior and incentive alignment and all these things, so that you can understand when somebody says something, you understand the reality of what's going on. Nonetheless, I'm not bashing Hyperliquid, but make no mistake about it, that's why people are bullish on Hyperliquid, because they got a huge bag of money from them. So Hyperliquid is an L1 They have their own consensus mechanism, but it seems to be using, I suppose, the EVM structure. Or, you know, I'm a marketer, right? The tech is always going to be way above my pay grade, so don't come to me for technical explanations here. But presumably, you can build, can very easily take EVM applications that are on Ethereum and layer 2 chains and bring them over to Hyperliquid. So now let's go to Twitter. November 10, 2022. This is where basically the first tweet begins that I have in front of me. So let's look and try to piece together a bit of a timeline of like why they've been successful. So what is Hyperliquid? As traders ourselves, we were frustrated with existing platforms. We wanted something that combined the smooth and instant UX of access while being fully decentralized, self-custodial, and safe. When we couldn't find it, we set out to build it ourselves. Okay. We want to build something that eliminates the need to ever use a central exchange. We're excited about the future of DeFi. Hyperliquid is currently on the early testnet with plans to build an L1 for order matching. Okay, so they're trying to replace the central exchange, or at least a part of the central exchange. Interesting. So there's a big jump in impressions, you know, around 500, 300, 500. And then a little bit later, there's this introducing Hyperliquid, your new home to trade perps on DeFi. 10,000 views. I don't know if they pushed that with KOLs and whatnot. Let's check out the comments real quick. Yeah, so there's not a single verified person in the comments, so 10,000 views is still pretty solid. They might have like gamed that a little bit. We're doing an AMA hosted by our friends Rect Gang by Friday. Okay, so Rect Gang is $4,000 views on the spaces. What is Rect Gang? The biggest multi-chain community. I suppose it is an AMA / podcast type of thing with some sort of NFT collections. Anyway, it's not super important, but the one thing they're doing here, which I talked about a lot in the past, is tapping into existing audiences, right? So they've made some sort of a deal with Rect Gang. They have at least 20,000 followers on, you know, today, right? Who knows what it was in January 2023, but they've started doing AMAs. They've either paid for this or they know them or what have you, but very good idea to start building your momentum. You got to go from 0 to 1, right? So this is a great way to do that, is to tap into existing audiences. Okay. Yeah, okay. So it seems like now, a couple of days later, they're doing another one. So what is going on here? This Thursday, I'm very excited to talk about 4 amazing dexes. Hyperliquid is on here. Who is Julian HL? 13,000. Oh, he's a contributor to Hyperliquid. Interesting. So maybe they had somebody on the team with a decent following. But anyways, they're continuing to do that same thing, right? Tapping into existing audiences. That's pretty funny. They did some sort of a challenge or whatever where the goal was actually to get liquidated. We were amazed by how X Liquid Spirit got liquidated in just 20 seconds. Open a ticket in Discord to claim your prize. That's pretty funny. What else is going on? Strategy pool. So rolling out new features. Hyperliquid is hosting a community versus community trading competition via strategy pools. As a reminder, this is on testnet, so there's no risk, but the $2,500 prize. Okay, so they're doing competitions. Now, this is interesting, community versus community. Okay, so it seems here are the communities: Dow Wars, Wrecked Gang, the Bull Club, Galactic Punks, Hellcats. So they seem to be tapping into more existing communities in terms of what looks like NFT types of projects. And in this case, it seems they've started some sort of a trading competition between them. And I don't know exactly how they would have organized all this, but presumably they either know some of these people, they've reached out to them cold and they said, hey, let's do this competition. There's going to be a prize. Do you want to participate? And presumably all of these projects have then gone on to promote this thing. So let's check those out. 32,000 followers, 35,000, 20,000, and Wrecked Gang we also checked, who are around 20,000. So very interesting way to go from 0 to 1, right? So in this case, they've done a trading competition. They've involved existing, projects with existing audiences into the trading competition in one way, shape, or form. And now here we can, okay, so here's what I was talking about, right? Now these projects are going to start tweeting about that, and that's how they grow from 0 to 1. So here's the Galactic Punks tweet. Here's the Bull Club tweet. And probably the others did it as well. Or maybe they didn't, and that's totally fine. They still got something out of it. So very interesting tactic there. Okay, let's continue. Okay, if you didn't make the initial whitelist, complete the crew 3 tasks to earn a spot. So, okay, so it seems like they've had some sort of a closed alpha, and the way you got whitelisted was by doing a crew 3 like tasks, kind of like a Zeely. Oh, I guess that is Zeely. It used to be called Zeely. I forgot about that. So we don't have access to that specific one, but let's see. Hyperliquid chain gets its first mainnet stress test on that market dump. Handled the TPS spike without a hitch. Latencies low throughout in orderly liquidations. Jeff.hl. So another guy with a punk profile, decent following, who is involved in Hyperliquid. So yeah, it seems like the people behind Hyperliquid are like pretty established, both in terms of obviously being able to fund the project themselves, and they seem to have a bit of a following and so on and so forth. And that's probably what has allowed them to take a more awesome path than the old VC path. Okay, more feature stuff. Chameleon Jeff will be live in 1 hour with Squid Router. What is that? Squid lets you swap token. Okay, so now they're doing, it seems like more AMA or X spaces with other projects. So Squid lets you swap tokens between blockchains. So that's what Squid does, the project, and they have teed up an AMA, and they have 50,000 followers. So this is really the playbook that I kind of outlined. Oh, I didn't outline it because I was really just, looking into what Bonk did, but it's very similar. So Bonk did the airdrop to different NFT projects. So these guys are basically doing AMAs and contests and that sort of thing with other projects, right? That's the 0 to 1 strategy that they seem to have. Now this is obviously like a year and a half ago, so we're going to see if we find anything else that's really interesting. But I always find the 0 to 1 to be interesting because that is the phase that most people struggle with. But it seems like, they've rolled out a product basically from day one. They have people using it. Presumably there's fees there, so they're able to generate revenue and so on and so forth. Okay, now, interesting. Now we're getting to referrals. I fucking love referral programs, and I love that most projects in crypto do it wrong. And let's see how they did it. I hope I can still access these things. So let's check here. This week's referral rewards were distributed to 81 addresses who collectively traded 9.25 million in volume. So this is now April 2023. If they're doing that kind of volume, they're already doing pretty damn good revenue, right? And this is just the referral side of things. So at the end of the day, they just launched a product, and they didn't. they didn't seem to have this like massive build-up period. It was just like they launched the testnet, they ran that for a bit, they went to mainnet pretty quickly, and they've been rolling, since then, and had real volume from early on. It seems like once again they got that initial awareness just by tapping into existing audiences. Let's see what we can see about the referral program. So refer users to earn rewards. Affiliates earn greater rewards. Let's see if they have their terms and stuff here. Okay, so you can create a referral code after you've done $10,000 in volume. Okay, interesting. They're gating it. You will receive 10% of referred users' fees less any fee discount they receive. Referral rewards apply for a user's first $1 billion in volume, and referral discounts apply for a user's first 25 million in volume. How do I use a referral code? Earn a referral code. Using a referral code will give you 4% discount on your fees. This is not a great referral program. It might have worked anyway, but people's fees are generally not going to be very high, right? And so if you only get 10% of that, it is ongoing, which is good, but I would have tried to find other ways to refer them on top of this. Anyway, I don't think the referral program has driven like a huge chunk of the users. Let's continue. Where were we here? This is also bear market, remember. I suppose things started to pick up like a bit after this. Liquidator Vault democratizes liquidations by letting the community provide collateral for liquidations and share in the PNL. Smart. Perp listings. What is this? Moondev. Who's this? Okay. I mean, it seems to me that they haven't done some massive thing to stand out or to be different. They've just played their cards right. They skipped the whole VC thing, right? They built a product. Like I said, it hasn't been based around hype, is what I'm trying to say. It's been based around having an actual product that people are using, generating revenue from that, and then I'm assuming as they went on, people started speculating increasingly more and more on the airdrop, and perhaps along with that, the referrals thing might have played maybe a bigger part than I initially expected, because they did drive almost 10 million in volume in like the first post that I saw about it. So I just think they've, like I said, it hasn't been based on hype. It's just been playing their cards right, building something people wanted, people used it. Tactical in the sense of like the 0 to 1, right? Tapping into existing audiences. Because like those 4 projects that they did that with, I've never heard of any of them, and that's fine. They all had like 20,000 followers, right? If you're starting with 0, that's what you want to do, and that like gets the ball rolling, and then I bet you we start to see that they like do it with more and more like well-known projects, because their reputation or brand or whatever you want to call it increases as they get increasingly more known. Yeah, so at the end of the day, people just seem bullish on the product. That's it. I love it. That's what you want to do, guys. That's the game you want to play. The game you don't want to play is like go and get VCs, do everything wrong with your Twitter accounts, and now you gotta like pay people to follow you, you gotta pay people to leave fake comments, you gotta pay people to join your Discord. like, what if you just made a product that people gave a shit about? What if they just wanted to be there because it was valuable to them? It's basically going to be the same amount of work. One is going to happen much faster, which is the road you don't want to go. And the other one is going to take a little bit longer, but you're never going to have to pay for press. You're never going to have to pay for people to follow you. Like, you know, it's just, I don't understand why people play that game. It's so dumb. Let me see what else we can find here. So we're still in June 2023. Let's see, what is this? Blockmates, Crypto Native Media. Jedi Blockmate sat down with Chameleon Jeff from Hyperliquid to chat all things perps. Now, I don't know if they would have paid for this, but it's very possible that this happened completely organically, because it's very clear their branding from the beginning has been nice. Like they built this quality thing from the beginning, both in terms of the way that it looks and also based on the retweets that I'm seeing from them themselves. Like, people seem to be pretty bullish on the product. Community calls, very cool. So they're keeping in touch with, you know, they're keeping their ear to the grindstone. They're getting questions directly from their audience. A thing that I mentioned probably 15 times in this book is you got to talk to your audience. And I don't mean read their tweets or analyze the data. I mean, talk to them, you know? You're going to learn way more than you think. And it seems like they're doing community calls, which is cool. So they're probably getting a pretty good feedback cycle going. Let's see, who's this? Hyper Chief. Okay, so that's somebody at Hyperliquid. Nothing really standing out other than, like I said, playing their cards right, having a nice foundation. So what is this? LogX, almost 300,000 followers. Trade meme coin perps, leverage prediction markets and exotic perps on the ultimate DeFi super app backed by Coinbase, blah, blah, blah. We're stoked to announce that we'll be integrating Hyperliquid X, an order book based perpetual futures DEX. So this is probably, once again, probably just a result of building a good product that people seem to be using, and, you know, just letting time pass in terms of getting your name out there by tapping into existing audiences and so on and so forth. Or I'm completely wrong and they like know these people making deals behind closed doors and whatnot. I don't know. Can't see that side of it, but so far it just looks like a very nice case of building a nice foundation and playing your cards right. Drift Protocol, 100,000 plus. Join us for our upcoming Spaces DeFi Perps Roundtable. Okay, so now they've been invited to this roundtable. Once again, I don't know if this is happening because these guys have connections behind the scenes, or that they've built something awesome that people are just, you know, want to take part of. You know, the one thing that I'll say is, like, if you build something awesome, you are going to attract awesome people, and other awesome projects are going to want to be around you. And so if you make stuff that's like just kind of cool or good, and I once again have a chapter about the difference between making good content and making great content. Like, you get way more out of making great content. And in a similar way, when you make great products, like, people want to be seen next to you. So it's really useful to spend a lot of time, like, in your product, in your content, in your marketing, making it great. And I'm no big fan of so I was actually writing a response to somebody on LinkedIn the other day, because the founder of Zeely wrote, you know, this whole debate about speed versus quality, basically. And he said, which is something I've heard Gary Vee say as well, which is that basically you're just protecting, like, if you try to make things nice, you're just protecting your ego because you're afraid of what people might think. I think that's bullshit. I think that's an excuse that people who make crap tell themselves to feel good about it. And I will also say that I used to be in the speed camp in terms of speed versus quality. I used to ship super fast. But what I realized, because there's been, you know, several times in my life where I made great stuff instead of good stuff, and the results were like so much better. And the other thing is like you have this debate with, you know, the argument that the speed guys say is that you basically like you roll it out and you test it and you see what happens. But what do you think the response is gonna be if you're rolling garbage out? Of course, the feedback loop is gonna be, hey, nobody's using this. Well, nobody's using it because it's crap. Maybe that's why. So I just no longer do that. Like, I'm super proud of this book. I was reading it myself the other day and I'm like, fuck, this is actually really good. And I feel really happy about that. And so I'm also now gonna like shamelessly promote it because I think it's gonna be useful in people's hands. And so I don't even know where this original thought came from, but basically, yeah, I remember. Make great stuff. People are gonna wanna be around you. It's very possible that these guys didn't know any of these people, and Drift Protocol and what was it called? LogX, that they just found them and they're like, hey, look at these guys, great branding, product looks sick, people love it. Of course we want to be with them. We want to be next to them. Okay, going on. Still nothing that really stands out in terms of being different. So here we go, token 2049. So it looks like they might have had core contributor at Hyperliquid. Maybe he gave a speech in last year's token 2049. Oh, this is cool also. So yeah, they have basically made it easy for people to share their referral code by sharing, like basically, you know, number go up on individual trades. Like, hey, I made 22%. Here's my referral code. Yeah, it's an image, so that's not very smart, but I guess the code is here as well. So that's pretty cool. People can easily just reel in others by sharing their wins. More community calls. And then it's clear that they're probably also like using the native opportunities on their platform to create new relationships. So if they're launching layer 0, I don't know if that's permissionless, but even if it's not, then they're probably hitting up that team and trying to get, you know, co-marketing and stuff out of them. So like if you have a platform where native integrations and things of that nature with like other tokens and it's permissionless, you should still try to hit them up and try to do it like with them as opposed to just doing it on their own, especially if they have, you know, co-marketing value in terms of doing it together. Let's see, Polkadot. I don't think Polkadot really shares much about projects, so I can expect a retweet there. More stuff from LogX. Still nothing crazy new. Artemis now supporting Hyperliquid on Perpetual's dashboard. So here we got a institutional grade analytics thing, 30,000 followers, very nice. Yeah, so far, still just good foundations, playing their cards right, integrating with other projects, doing, you know, tapping into other audiences. And that just seems to be the games they're playing. Blur. Yeah, I still don't see anything new. Now we're in October. And I might just skip ahead a bit, see if there's anything changing, but nope. Just a couple of years of good execution, making products people want to use. Sushi.com, okay, that's going to be a big 370,000 followers. Curious about on-chain perp features, join us for an AMA with Hyperliquid. Once again, don't know if this is something they paid for, made happen through connections, but at this point they would have been, you know, would have gained pretty good traction given all the stuff that we've already scrolled through. So here they reached $10 billion in total volume, so they're crushing it at this point. So getting, you know, next to sushi and stuff like that becomes totally feasible. What the hell? By community request, you can now long or short Luna Classic with up to 10x leverage on Hyperliquid. What is wrong with our industry, man? A lot. That's why we love it. Okay, let's see, what is that? Hyperliquid Zelic. What is Zelic? Audited. Okay, so it's a smart contracts auditing thing. What is this? Crypto Pixel. 166,000. He's got Chameleon Jeff on in French, it looks like. This guy speaks French? No. Okay, I don't know, I suppose this guy has interviews or a podcast and they've been invited, but once again, they've reached pretty damn good traction at this point, so they're gonna start to get like, you know, it gets very easy to get people to pay attention and to want to do things with you in terms of interviews and co-marketing and so on. Still no tactics or anything out of the ordinary here. Let's see, 100,000 followers, bringing a global on chain by abstracting Web3 for everyone. Exciting announcement, deeply integrated with Hyperliquid X. So yeah, integration marketing, obviously a big part of what they're doing. Integration of Hyperliquid, so yeah, 34K. Never sleep on integration marketing if you have a platform or protocol that it makes sense for, especially in crypto, where it's like a lot of things can be done permissionlessly or easily. Still nothing new, gang. Just more of the same. Where are we at? September 25. Okay, so we're almost like October. Push protocol 150. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's all they did. They built a good foundation, built a product people wanted, did a little bit of tapping into existing audiences, a lot of integration marketing, and I don't see anything really out of the ordinary. They didn't try to do some weird new strategy or tactic. It was just very good fundamentals. I might have missed something, but that is what I'm seeing. They don't even have a vision. They've just got a product that people like and people are using it. Sometimes it's as simple as that. Take what you want from this, but there we have it. That seems to be the case, or the story with Hyperliquid. Hope you got something out of today's video. Don't forget The Art of Number Go Up. You can get it in ebook, you can get it in PDF, or you can get it in the physical copy. And I have to say, the physical copy is awesome to have. And this is the kind of book that's like a reference book that you want like on your desk next to you. It's like, oh, we got to make an ad, or hey, we got to work on our vision. How do we do our vision? Or we're working on our messaging or our positioning. Like, how do I do that? And it's just like right there to be your guiding hand. Okay, let me stop here. Thank you for watching. Talk to you soon.